Perhaps we should just summarize that we've approved the minutes of the October 12th meeting and whichever, have we approved one of these warrants yet?
No, we're looking at it.
Yeah.
So I didn't see the receipt or the invoice for that. Is that in here someplace?
It should be.
Yes,
So-
yes, it's in there.
Right, I'm
Does-
just
does
not
anybody-
seeing it.
From
Steve?
DuPont.
Yeah, I'm looking.
Thank you, Bill. Do you want me to go search for it?
Oh, I got it. Okay, thanks.
Okay.
Oakley, get down. Sorry.
We get down. All right. All right. Is there any other things that we'd like to delve into on this this AP accounts payable warrant? I think the rest of it looks pretty standard. I would entertain a motion to approve.
So moved, Bill.
I second it.
Okay. All those in favor of approving accounts payable warrant 01019 in the amount of $20,771.31, please indicate by saying aye.
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 And opposed?
Aye.
And abstentions. All right, thank you very much. So let's see, Bill has been nice enough to send that other one around. Just means that I have to go find it. Thank you, Bill. And voila. All right. This is an accounts payable 01013. Hello, cursor. Where are you, my friend? I had a cursor once. Oh, no. All right. I'll do it by feel. This is in the amount of $28,703.38. I see a couple of big things for summer chloride. Sheriff,
Actually, with regards to the summer chloride, hey, Bill, have you talked with Ben about the usage of some of the chloride?
Not in the last month or so.
Okay, I asked Ben, I said, the biggest expenses we have in this town on the road expense as far as gravel and stuff, the chloride is just, and I understand we had a dry summer and people were very concerned about dust on the roads. I'm not contesting that at all. It just seems that I'm not sure whether or not we put enough in our budget for Ben to, on the chloride issue. And I guess I'm sort of concerned about that because the amounts of money that are involved are pretty substantial. So I asked him briefly, and I went down and looked at the chloride tank, which he's got set up, which is actually a great program. But I forgot to ask him about that, and I didn't know if anybody else had consulted with him.
I've not spoken to him about this summer in particular, but I know he was doing extra because of the detours with the culvert, the big culvert replacement. We're getting so much traffic with such a dry summer. And it's not just a matter of dust control and sort of cosmetics. It's also when it's that dry, you start losing fines out of your road at an accelerated rate. The road will deteriorate much more quickly without those fines in there. The chloride helps retain them.
I totally agree. I know I do. I understand. I do it on my own driveway.
So we're going over the budget status report later, so maybe we can take a look at it then.
that's
Yeah.
true. Yep.
Good
it's in
idea.
there. Okay. Is there anything else? All right. Again, I would entertain a motion to approve the check warrant 01013.
So moved, Mary Kate, in the total amount of,
No, in the amount of $28,703.38.
38 cents, yeah.
This is John. I'll second.
Thank you, John. Any more discussion? All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 And opposed? And abstentions? Thank you. Okie dokie. Let's see, we have two more, it seems to me.
Yeah.
And now I've lost my universe over here just a little bit. I apologize. There we go. There's my universe back. And let's see, our next check warrant is one. Here we go. We'll put this one up. This one's short and rather large. This one is this is an accounts payable 01023 in the amount of $79,392.16. All of these are related to construction of the new town offices and library. The first one, of course, is architectural services. The second one is the construction services for this past month. And the final one is the interest on our bond that we got. Is there any questions that you guys have? I sent that request around. I can bring that up if you'd like to look at it. It's basically the billing from
Taylor and Breen.
yeah, Naylor and Brain.
I've seen them, so
Okay. Okay.
This is John. I'll move to approve check warrant AP 01023 in the amount of $79,392.16.
Yep. That'll do.
Second by Bill.
Thank you, Bill. Is there any more discussion? All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 And those opposed? And abstentions? All right, thank you. And we have just one more of these to do. And let's see, let me see if I can get down here far enough to pull it out. There we go. This is a payroll warrant in the amount of $8,796.08. Payroll warrant 01026.
Mary Kate, I'd move to approve payroll warrant 01026 in the amount of $8,796.08.
Excellent.
I second it.
Thank you, Paul. Any discussion? All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 And opposed? And abstentions? Thank you. All right, I am. Oh, there was my cursor briefly. You're killing me here. All right. Let's see. Were there any overweight permits?
None.
Thank you. I'm at public comment and guess. Is there any public comment? Anybody have anything? All right, thank you. Then we're on to the equipment purchase grant. Let's see. that looks like this document right here. Ben was surprised. Oh, now you're really gonna make me work. All right, let's try it again. I seemingly have lost my cursor. Come on now, there we go, that'll work. So we got, Ben got an equipment purchase grant to buy a hay bale shredder. He was surprised when that grant came through. The 20% local match required is $1,600.
I didn't realize that was even on our radar.
Ditto. I don't think he thought it was really on his radar either. I'm just trying to see.
There's
Well, I know
a
he's-
couple of
I know-
different quotes in there. Three
Three quotes.
different quotes, yeah.
I'm sorry, Mary Kate.
There's three quotes in there, so 6, 7. So this would be about $8,000 between our share and the our 20% and the grant. And the quotes, there's got that rental and sales Inc. That price is $9,995. Essex's rental is $7,650. And then Champlain Valley Equipment is $7,700.
Mary Kate, where are these numbers coming from?
If you scroll down on the confirmation of the equipment purchase attachment in the file that Steve sent, there's three
Uh,
quotes.
I apologize. I must have missed downloading this file.
So Essex Equipment is going to give it to us pretty cheap.
Only
Yeah,
a $50 difference between that and Champlain Valley Equipment,
Oh, good.
which is sort of a local company with employees in this town.
Yep.
I guess my question would be to Ben is, what have we done in the past? What have we done in the past to subsidize this particular aspect of the highway road, work? I mean, what costs were we incurring in the past to do this process? So that we understand.
I know on
so
at least some of them, we've just paid contractors to come in. For instance, when they were mulching, they regraded the curve on States Prison Hollow Road. They had a local contractor come in and shred and spray. They sprayed the grass and then shredded
okay.
hay.
But I guess
I don't know if he does that all the time.
Yeah, no, and that's my point. I mean, it's like, yeah, you get it, this is a great subsidy and everything, but owning your own equipment means you have maintenance costs associated with it. So I guess what I'm concerned about is whether or not Ben is prepared for the maintenance costs that we would have to accept when you do buy this equipment outright, and whether or not there's a sufficient need for it where a subcontractor can come in and do it much more cheaply because they might have a different setup. That's my point.
Except I doubt we get an 80% contribution on a grant for hiring a subcontractor.
Well, but we haven't done the numbers yet. So regardless of that, it doesn't show up. No, we don't know. I mean, none of us here spray grass out on the road. We don't have that understanding. I guess my opinion is there's a chance that we could move this to the next meeting and get more qualifications from Ben as to the difference in cost between a subcontractor over the course of a year versus the cost of what we're going to end up with this regarding maintenance costs, to keep the equipment running. It's going to sit idle through 6 months out of the year. And when it does that, you have to shelter it in order to keep it in working condition. That's my point.
Plus, Ben probably should give us some input. Yes, they're different prices, but they're 3 different brands. Is one better than the other? I don't know.
No, I'm not.
So,
not-
so I'm just up at the front. It says, municipal responsibilities from the letter of intent. We have to purchase the equipment upon notice to proceed, this letter, to support implementation of the MRGP by June 30th, 2021. I think
I'm sorry, Stephen, when is it due by?
June 30th of next year.
All right, so we have time.
We do.
Yeah. I think we should just investigate and ask Ben for his opinion about the
That's
cost
fine.
analysis of whether or not the subcontractor can do it cheaper over a 5-year period of time, whatever the life of the equipment is, relative to the cost of even 20% that we would have to put into it, and have to maintain it and shelter it. That's my take on it.
That sounds fine.
Yeah, I agree with Paul. If it makes, as long as we're not under some sort of time pressure or we lose the grant, there's no reason not to just wait and ask Ben to give us a few words on.
Good. I will put that on our next agenda, which will be in November. Okay, awesome. Thank you. And I'm going to try and close this guy because he's misbehaving. No, that was close. All right, I know how to do it the other way. Close all tabs. Go. Get out of my life. Come on.
That mouse.
Oh, I can't see. I can't see what I'm doing. Oh, for F's sake.
Steve, you might be able to, if you can't click on it, you might be able to, if you hit tab, sometimes it changes which one's active.
Yes, there you go. How about that? I thank you for your direction. Our next piece of business is the budget status report. Paul, this is your first look at what the budget process looks like.
Well, actually, it's my second look.
You didn't like it the first time, did you?
It's I'm adjusting.
Okay. I'll just I've moved everything over. We have 2018 actual spending, 2019, 2020 budget, and 2020 actual. And here's our budget for this year that we'll be filling in as we go. We will, one of the things I'm going to ask, if it's all right, I was going to send out our normal, please give us your budget in and around the 1st of December to all of the various committees.
That'd be great.
So,
That makes all the difference.
yeah, it does. And so this is carefully color coded with different people have different responsibilities for filling in parts of this budget. We get the treasurer gets all the green ones. We get
The yellow ones.
I think we get the gray ones.
Right, we get great.
We get the gray ones.
Well, you're a big-
really, what all I wanted to do is bring it up today is this is as of this October 19th. That's 80% of the way through the year. So if there's stuff that is over the top, more than that, we should pay attention to it. One of the things that you should not pay, one of the things that happens in these interim budgets when we're looking at them is the property taxes revenues have not been distributed out through all of the places that they're going to be distributed out to as part of our sort of end of the year cycle. And so for instance, here in, I'm looking at the bottom of general revenues, you know, line 39, it looks like we are doing great. We're ahead of general revenues by some $670,000, but that's not true. What's happened is that all of the property taxes are getting put in this bucket rather than all the other buckets that property taxes end up in. In fact, this bucket, when we get down to it, is all the property taxes that are left over after we put all the property taxes in all the other buckets. So there you go. So I generally, when we do this, I create things that say revenues total minus property taxes. So for instance, in this particular case, we are quite a ways behind on our general revenues. Right? We budgeted $220,000 of general revenues. We've only taken in $120,000. Do you guys see that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that associated with our delay of receiving taxes and the interest because of COVID?
No.
Or is there some other anomaly that I'm not familiar?
Our property taxes aren't due yet, so that hasn't become a factor yet.
Right. It
Yeah.
just.
I'm sorry. I apologize. I thought they had already. You're right. They are not due. I paid mine in advance. Sorry.
I think there's some big hitters here that haven't appeared yet. In fact, I think I just saw it come through the A&R payment in lieu of taxes. That's not very big, but the current use and hold harmless is a big number. It hasn't appeared yet. You know, not only do we pay at the end of the cycle, but everybody else does too. So it's you know, this firms up as we go, but if there's individual items that stick out that you think we should investigate, we should know about them.
Kind of interesting that delinquent taxes are less than expected, well, less than budgeted. Although I guess that'll change when the next due date rolls around.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, yeah, because if the taxes aren't due yet, then we don't see the full impact of it.
Yeah.
So it's a little hard to follow so line 110 town hall committee expenses, right? It's over.
Yes, I'm working on those guys to fix that, right? They're supposed to take those additional monies,
Take
you
the
know,
money
and
we
put
got from
them,
the grant
yeah,
and put it in, right?
yeah. They haven't taken them out yet. In fact, without hoping that I'm not going to make everybody whoops in a bucket, but I'm going to zip down here to the bottom, not quite the bottom. Here is Town Hall Fund, and what we're doing is we're passing all of the grant expenses and all of the grant revenues, if you will, through the Town Hall Fund. So to date, there's been, you know, not counting the warrant we just signed, you know, $150,000 of construction costs, $13,000 of architectural fees, legal fees, etc. And then we've taken this much money out of the bond anticipation note to cover that, to cover those expenses. All right. And, I'm sorry.
Steve, is there somebody who's looking at the budget for the town hall and, you know, comparing it with what we're paying? I know we get bills, but is that part of what Naylor and Breen's doing, or is that Bill?
Really, there's, I guess, two sets of people who are really looking at it. Actually, three. Right, Naylor and Breen is looking at it. They signed a contract, a not to exceed contract. So they, of course, want to make sure that the contractors don't exceed what they bid for. That's not to say that there haven't been a number of change orders,
Yeah,
right, that we have. Like, for instance,
tonight.
well, we just went ahead, the building committee, said we really do need some ADA openers, and we hope we can get grants for them. We think we can get grants for them, and even if we don't, we'll pay for it out of our contingency. So, and I'm happy to look at that contingency, that change order. We also, for instance, because of the way the water permitting went, we actually had to run 2 water lines underneath the driveway, and that cost us an extra $4,000 to open that back up, put another water line in, close it back up again. So
Why did that occur?
so Paul, I'll take this one offline with you, but it's basically
No. That's good enough for me. I just thought there was a quick answer, and if that's not the case, then let's move on.
no. It's what we needed to do to get our construction permit for the water source.
And the only reason I bring it up is because I think that if the architectural services and the engineering services, Naylor and Breen, are doing their jobs, I'm really hoping where there's no more surprises like that, because that's really their job. Certainly Bellwether, they should be if they charge us a fee, they should be aware of these things, and that we should not have too many. I mean, there's always surprises, but we shouldn't have a lot of them.
Yeah. Well, the ADA openers aren't a surprise. They're just, we decided that we needed them. But this was, Brent Rakowski of Otter Creek Engineering gave us a plan. He said, this, according to all of my calculations, this is good to go. And the state came back and said, well, we think that there's a chance that if everybody flushes a toilet in the church and the town hall and the 300-gallon tank that you guys installed is dry, that your pump won't be able to supply enough water pressure, and you'll have a drop in water pressure. And we said, yep, you're right. We'll do what you want. And so that's how that came about. Paul.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
So Steve, kind of where I'm coming from is, right, we're spending a lot of big dollars on the town hall construction. It's hard to oversee it based on what I'm seeing on this. Yep. And so I just want to make sure that there's other people overseeing those expenditures.
So I sort of got I interrupted myself, and I apologize. So Naylor and Breen is responsible for the contract. Chris Huston is overseeing a lot of this work as well. And then there's sort of an executive committee that's looking in, which is myself and Chris Huston and Will Bound. And then there's the building committee in its entirety, which meets once a month.
Right. So the building committee's keeping track of that, and we should expect that if there's any issue that would be brought to our attention. They're keeping track of the numbers and making sure everything's within
Yeah.
what was approved by the budget. Perfect.
Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, we're trying to keep, oh, well, if we go over that contingency, we will let you know, that's for sure.
Right, but even as we're digging into the contingency, it looks like, I mean, you have been telling us that, and I'd expect that to continue, right?
Well, yeah, let me just, let me bring this up so that, I mean, because it's here and we're talking about it. Oh boy, can't read that, not in a month of Sundays. This is our current change order
Right.
that how much we've taken out of the contingency for changes.
Yep.
You know, we had to we excavated a bunch of debris out of the southeast corner of the parking lot. I don't even know what that one is. We've decided to spray foam the underside of the roof as per Paul's recommendation. You know, a bottle filler add to the fountain. We thought we had this in. We go back and look at the contract and it's not there. Our bad. Oh, there you go.
Yep, good.
All right, thank you. Okie dokie. So I don't know, has the board had a chance to look at this, and is there any part of it that you'd like to take a look at? Paul, I think the big hitter is the highway department and their expenses.
Yeah, I think isn't that the most substantial portion of our budget?
It is by quite a bit. by quite a bit.
Mike, I guess are we making any decisions here, or are we just in discussion here?
We are. What we will be doing is.
I haven't seen the budgets for next year yet, so I guess, you know, that's sort of, you know,
Well,
as you said, December 1st, everybody has to provide a budget regarding their department and the expenses that they propose for next year. And to me, and I know from experience working with you, is that's very important. And I am still learning to understand some of these details, and I'll ask questions when I have them, but at this point, I'm sort of just still learning the process.
Okay. I mean, I have some questions, and you asked them earlier, and I think it's worth looking down through here. He spent a lot of money on a town garage, but I'm really interested in these are all running a little high. Here's the ones that we care about. And you're right. What the heck is going on with summer chloride? Right, that's
The summer chloride is outrageous, but I don't know enough about it to say it. This is my conclusion. If Ben has a budget to start each year, he probably should be totally tied into maintaining any type of program within his operation to make sure that we are within a few percentage points of that without describing these unusual circumstances to the select board at any given month where they occur. And I guess my point here is that I don't know if that's happened in the past, if that's the normal, you know, I've only been on the board, you know, for, you know, like 9 months, but I sort of like to understand if that's happening, because in a management style, if somebody says, this is your budget, Ben, this is what you got, figure out what your labor costs are, your equipment costs are. Now, granted, if equipment breaks down, there's these things that occur. summer chloride, that may also be another anomaly because of the fact that we had a dry summer, roads were dry, and the roads get destroyed and so forth. But there still has to be he still has to be responsible to keep us up to date every month where things start to become creeping out of control on the costs. Because if that's the case, then what we need to do is say, hey, what can you do to make this easier on the taxpayers? Because we're in the COVID situation, I don't see us all throwing in a lot of money here. And so I guess I'm really kind of concerned about that. That's all.
All right. So Paul, I'll just point you down to in general, the only thing I care about is the bottom line here. His road maintenance total. He had a budget, really, we knocked that budget down by $100,000 because we all agreed that we weren't going to do the 110. We weren't going to do the hot mix.
Right.
So really, that number should be $450,000 for road maintenance.
Yeah, actually, I don't think we knocked it by quite down 100% of that because
95.
we figured
You're correct.
he was gonna make up by doing patches here and there. But
That's
yeah,
right.
you're
I
in the
remember.
ballpark.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think we took 80,000 of it or something like that.
95.
something like that. 90.
Right. But that's no reason to take that knockdown and throw it into the budget somewhere else.
No. I just point out that he's only spent $170,000 for road maintenance so far this year. That's
Wow.
spectacular.
Yeah.
No. That's no. I understand. I see that. I think I guess I was looking more towards the direction from the select board towards the road commissioner to be accountable for the budget without us having to figure it out because we're not professionals in that particular field. That was my real question, I guess.
Yeah.
We have
Well-
in the past we have allowed him. We don't expect because you're making a budget before any of this has happened. We have allowed him. We have not worried about individual line items. If you go over in chloride, where are you making it up? We don't care if you go over on chloride if there's a good reason to, and if you're not going to blow your entire budget. If you're going to make up for it someplace else.
No, and I agree with you, John. I totally do, except that I'll give you for instance.
Just a
The
second.
road,
I
I'll
got
give you for instance, the road in front of my house has been a desert the entire summer, okay? And I've seen other roads in the area that have only received chloride on a rare basis. And as a select board member, as a taxpayer, I would like to know how it's being used because I don't see it personally from my perspective.
All right. So Tim, I'm sorry.
Am I allowed to ask a question during
Sure.
this time? So
Sure.
just out of curiosity, when I saw the budget to actual, is this on a calendar fiscal year or is
Yeah,
this?
this is on a calendar. We're sort of 80% of the way through
Okay.
a calendar year.
That's all I was wondering. Thank you.
Tim, it's the way our budget works is very weird. We set it in January. The town votes on it in March, and we collect taxes on it in November. So it's crazy stuff. Anyway,
Sure.
so thanks for the question.
Yep.
Is there any other piece that we'd like to look through here? I mean, the road maintenance looks pretty decent to me. He's right on for the highway expenses in general, right? He's spent 79% of the monies that we've allocated to general highway expenses. Town garage, he's over, although it's a relatively minor expense. He's $3,000 over, $3,000 or $4,000 over. Payroll, of course, is right on, although we'll have an interesting, we're going to lose a senior employee and hopefully pick up somebody to take that up. Anyway. So any other piece of the budget that you guys would like to take a look at?
I'm good.
Good. All right, as I
Okay.
say, we'll start the budget process in earnest. Probably not our next meeting, but the meeting following. And I'll put out that, our standard sort of letter to all of the committees saying, here's the budget worksheet, fill in what's yours and send it back to us. And hopefully by December 1st. Okie dokie. Oh, our next budget item is one somewhat amusing. It's appointments. Tim, unbeknownst to you, Stephanie asked me to have the select board appoint you in November 2016, and that never quite got translated all the way up to the select board. So I would like to
You mean 2019?
2019.
Yeah.
So I think that I would ask the select board to consider appointing Tim Hunt to the Recreation Committee, Mary Kay, can you help me with a word? It's
Retroactive.
Add post hoc.
retroactively. Yes,
Yeah,
please.
at post hoc.
Retroactively to December of 2019.
A lot of emotions going through right now.
This, by the
Is-
way, is your chance. If you say, "Ma, forget it. I wasn't really interested anyway." This is a good chance to.
No, I'm enjoying working with the community, and I love working with the kids. So
That's awesome.
Awesome.
And
That's
can
awesome.
I ask, is there any reason to do this retroactively? I mean,
Okay.
I have no objection to it, but what's the,
Well,
were there controversial votes that would not have happened since he hadn't been appointed or something? Or
No,
just-
but go ahead, Mary Kay.
yeah. Well, if he's been acting on behalf of the committee, then that covers him. So I'd do it retroactively since it was really everybody's understanding that he was
yeah,
on the
okay.
committee.
Yeah.
I guess I have some expenses that I purchased
Yeah.
that maybe would be a good reason to do it. So it's not,
Yeah.
I was buying things as a representative of the rec committee.
Yep.
Like,
Yep. I have no problems, and it was an oversight on my part, and I just would like to rectify it before we go any further.
Tim, what was your
So
last name again?
Hunt,
Hunt.
Hunt.
So I would, I'll move to appoint Tim Hunt to the Recreation Committee for the open slot term of expiring March 2023.
I second that.
Okay. Is there any discussion?
No,
Do we need
Just
to add the
wanna thank-
retroactive?
Yes,
just
I would like a friendly amendment to that motion to Bill.
To say effective December 2019.
Thank you.
Okay.
Is there any more discussion? All those in favor of appointing Tim Hunt to the Recreation Committee effective December 2019, please indicate by saying aye.
I
Aye.
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 Great. All those opposed and abstentions. All right. Whew. Let's see. So I put the Moncton Community Dog Park on the agenda. I'm trying to wrestle with the interaction between the Moncton Community Dog Park and the Recreation Committee. Tim, you're the only one here from the committee. Is that true? the rec
Yes.
committee? Okay.
No, that's not true.
Oh, well,
Paul
and
Lowe,
Paul.
Paul, let me start right now, Stephen, please. As I am currently serving on the Moncton Recreation Committee, and since I have contributed monies and advice to the Dog Park Committee, I do not feel it is appropriate for me to make any comments during this discussion as a select board member. I will not create a conflict of interest situation for this discussion.
Okay. Um, uh, I would say that other members of the select board have also contributed to the dog park. Hold on, there we go. I have not directly contributed to the dog park, although I have bought a waste, it's a poop bag dispenser that has not yet been erected. But I don't think that would affect my judgment for anything that we're going to talk about here tonight.
That's
Steve-
fine. I just want to put it out there because I don't want any, if a community member decides that there's some sort of conflict of interest on my part, considering I am
It's fine.
totally involved in all three of these issues. I'm a select board member, I'm a rec committee member, I'm a dog park, supporter. And I just don't want there to be any animosity about
That's fine.
anything that I'm involved in all three.
All right. All righty.
Um,
Thank you.
Steve, if I could
Yes,
add,
please, John.
I also contributed to the dog park, but we've established on a couple of occasions now that merely contributing to something like that does not in itself create a conflict of interest. It's not like any of us by contributing somehow stand to financially gain from contributing to this. I defer to Mary Kate's greater experience in this area, but I don't see that making a contribution, it was the same thing as making a contribution to the library's fund drive or various other fund drives or to an ANAC project or anything like that. We have, unless that contribution created an opportunity for personal financial gain, we've never viewed it as a conflict. I do understand Paul's situation is a little different, but solely
Mine is very different than anybody else's who's contributed money. I have vested a promised amount of work on it, and I also represent the Recreation Committee in the sense that they have particular items that they're interested in resolving, and I'm not comfortable getting in the middle of all this.
So Paul, you've recused yourself, and that's great. And thank you.
Okay, I'm done.
Yeah, there you go. All right. So what I guess I'd like to do is, I know that the dog park committee has been quite active, and if either of the, well, I think I see 3 members of the dog park committee, not counting Paul, if you could just briefly bring the select board up to speed as to what you've been doing since you last met with us, which was back in January. Who feels like going? Kathy? Or-
Sure, I'll go. Can you hear me?
Yep.
So I think Steve and I had forwarded you sort of an overview and a history of activities that we've been engaged in since we last
I forwarded
met.
that to the select board.
Okay, great. So I don't know if all the members have had a chance to review that. But it really just sort of describes the history of what this committee has done in a couple of different areas. So we first talked about publicity and transparency. And I don't know how in the weeds you want me to get with this. So
Not very.
stop me if you.
Not very in the weeds.
Okay, so, back in December of 2019, we met with the rec committee to propose this idea. I guess there's some discrepancy as to the recollection of the rec committee's understanding of the outcome of that meeting and the dog parks. And I think maybe that's where the problem lies. The dog park.
I'm more interested in not just tell me what you guys.
Okay, so we met with the rec committee. We met with the select board. We put a notice in the annual report about our intentions to create a dog park. We had a table at town meeting. We held an informational meeting at the proposed site on August 15th. We've put regular updates and status reports on Facebook, on Front Porch Forum. We have a page on the town website where it is filled with information about all of our activities. We had interaction with the Agency of Natural Resources around the wetland setback and got approval for where the fence needed to be, adequately distanced from the wetland. We worked with the Vermont Housing and Conservation Board around an easement and got approval on the easement. We've done fundraising activities. We were communicating with Stephanie and the rec committee around any concerns around the archaeological site at the dog park. And before Stephanie had left, she had sent an email saying, good news, your area is not one of the 3 designated areas within Morse Park that are have artifact concerns. In that email, she said the rec committee was communicating with the archaeologists and that we should not be reaching out to them. And what else? Let's see. We met with the neighbors. We went door to door and did outreach to neighbors who live in proximity of the dog park to let them know what we were doing. Recently, there had been some questions about insurance. We were pretty sure that that was covered and discussed when we were at the select board, which has since been revisited and covered again, and that has been addressed. We have done fundraising. We've come pretty close to meeting our fundraising goal. We have ordered fencing. We have a target date for fence installation. And so we thought we were moving along quite well in compliance with what needed to happen. And so we're ready to kind of move on this. We have signage worked out, we have rules, we have a fence on order, we have adequate funding for not only installing the fence, but covering some of our maintenance costs.
So Kathy, let me ask you 2 quick questions. How much money have you raised?
Well, I'm gonna let our treasurer give you the final number there. Deb, if you could do that.
You'll need to unmute yourself, Deb.
And I also had to find the right file, including pledged amounts and a grant award. We have currently raised over $11,000, $11,338.
Okay.
The grant is for $2,000 and is contingent upon being shovel ready with all permits in place, which is what we thought we were.
Yep. So just, and then how much do you guys think you're going to spend on maintenance? What's the maintenance cost per year?
We have estimated that, as we talked about in our first meeting with the rec committee, that we would also contract with their contractor, who's been Brian Barrows for years, and there's no reason to expect that would change. That we would be responsible for the section of Morse Park that we are occupying, and we're in the budget. We've estimated $1,000 a year for that. We also have a pretty wild guesstimate on how many waste bags and waste can liners we'll need. We've got $750 budgeted for that, and another $50 for unexpected expenses that nobody is quite sure what they are. Casella Waste Systems has promised to pick up and dispose of our waste as a donation it's basically an open-ended commitment. I know that this is what they do for the Middlebury Dog Park and the Shelburne Dog Park, so they have a long history of supporting local dog parks that way, and there's no reason to expect it would be a short-term arrangement. So the only expenses we have are the upkeep of the fence, the upkeep of the grass, and the waste, handling the waste, the poop bags and the waste can liners.
Yep.
We have talked to the wetland specialist about putting in some site appropriate plantings, all of which would be done from cuttings taken from the adjacent wetland. So there's not expected to be any particular expenses there. We may go to some of the local nurseries and ask for donations of native species that would be appropriate for the site to get some shade trees in. But if we don't get those as donations, I think we would do specific fundraising to cover those costs.
Yeah. Thank you. Is there other questions from the committee for the dog park folks?
Steve, this is John.
Yes,
I'd just like to incorporate the attachment from the email they sent you into the minutes, the one that you forwarded out to the select. I think it was a very well written, where they are, what they've done up to now, and what the plans are. And I'd like to make that part of the minutes.
Okay. I think, I don't think Betsy was included on that, so we'll have to send that out to Betsy.
I just forwarded a copy to her. And
Thank you.
If she's unable to attach it, I'll do it before I post it on the website.
All right. That's great. And that's a lot of effort, a lot of good effort. Anything else from the board for the dog park folks? So Tim, I'm going to put you on the spot, only because you're the only one I can see here. But and I know, having lost your chair, you guys are really going to need to go through an organizational meeting and that kind of stuff.
Seeing I was just formally appointed moments ago.
Oh, you lucky guy.
All right, so thank you. First, I really it's impressive what you guys have accomplished to date. And so emails are tough to read through, and I hope you didn't take my email that I sent out earlier in the week to be anything other than just kind of matter of fact. And I really am happy for you guys with your efforts to date, and I think it's great. So so there, it's a lot easier to say that in person.
It's much easier, and I agree that emails really.
So I was actually the meeting that you came to the rec committee. That was my very first meeting. So I do actually remember it. And I honestly, based on what you just said, don't think we're really far off. So the interaction between the dog park and Moncton Rec, we're, although I'm not trying to reference any formal language, but in many ways I feel like we're sort of the stewards of Morse Park. And with a dog park coming in, it's going to alter the experience that people have at Morse Park. And I guess for obvious reasons, you're going to have a dog park, which does change it. And for some, it will change it in a positive way, and others maybe not. I don't know. I honestly, my dog doesn't like other dogs, so I wish she did, because she keeps getting out of my fence that I built. Just playing fetch. With that, we just would like to know more what the plan is. Now, I appreciate and value the history that you provided, but in order to better understand how the dog park's going to impact the experience and the interactions with the rest of the park, we had asked to review the rules and regulations to make sure that and the signage, to just make sure all those things flow. And where is it going to be located? Down to, at one point you were brainstorming saying you might have an access on both sides of the park. So it's really unclear to me the types of gates or where the gates are going to be. Just some more of the details. And you had stated that you have the rules and the signage plans and stuff. And it's like, can you just share it with us so that we can get comfortable with what's going to be going on as a new activity? And that's really the genesis of what we're hoping to just be on the same page for, because without fully understanding what the rules and regulations are, we really can't, if this is not me wishful thinking, I'm just, if no one ever uses this, or it's used inappropriately, which I hope it's not, what are the drivers or triggers for a decommissioning plan? Because if people aren't using it properly and people are getting bit left and right, I think it's fair to just have something in place so that we can just have a document that says, hey, we talked about this, we embraced the idea, this is what we went into it thinking, and this isn't working, and this is why. Or if we have someone that, on the flip side, if we have someone that's just like, I don't like seeing dogs off a leash, it's like, well, here are the rules and regulations, this is what we all agreed to, and I'm sorry your experience is impacted, but we think that this is reasonable, and we have a document that can support both the naysayers, you know what I'm saying, the full left and right limits.
Yep. So I think you have a recreational committee meeting coming up shortly. Is that right? Next Monday.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yep.
This is second for those of you counting along, and I'm sure that that they will give you all. Really, all I would like to do is kind of facilitate to make sure that you ask what you want and they provide it. And I've also stepped in a little bit to work the archaeology piece.
Yeah, I saw that. And when you said, Deb, I believe it was you, when you mentioned a grant, who is that grant from? Because that could impact.
It could.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have been awarded, this is not public knowledge yet because we received the award at
Will
the
be
same time.
It is now.
Right. We haven't publicized it yet because we received the notification of the award on the same day that we received a series of emails from the Recreation Committee that immediately put that grant at risk. It's a $2,000 grant from the Vermont State Buildings and General Services Recreational Facilities. It's the same source that the Recreation Committee received a $7,500 grant from
2012.
Oh, that sounds like a nice grant.
It's a lovely grant, and they were delightful people to work with. They were very supportive of our application and basically held our hands through the entire process to make sure that we would be successful. The requirement, the first and foremost requirement, is that projects need to be shovel ready with all permits in place. And we had been assured back in July that there was no issue with the archaeological status of the site, and that has now been called into question.
So let's not delve too deeply into that.
So if,
I think that will resolve itself. Let's,
but we can only hope, because otherwise we'll forfeit the grant.
that's true.
So I guess I would just like to have a better understanding as the chair of the dog park committee as to whom we are answering to.
That's another question, and I think I think the rec committee is going to have to work that out a little bit. I think I'm not ready to ask the rec committee how they would like to sort that out, unless the rec committee knows ahead of time.
Well, I can say in a general sense that when we had that meeting, you could tell me it was January, February, December, and I'd say yes. I just remember sitting
It was
down with you some
December.
time ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was December 2nd.
And we had whether your information goes to the select board and then back to the rec committee, I'm honestly indifferent, and I'm not, and I don't have, this is just Tim speaking because I have no authority to talk for the other people on this type of topic, but I don't believe there should be a sense of ownership on how it is, because all three of us should be speaking together. And so how it goes is really indifferent. I'm indifferent on it.
Yep.
And once it's understood, all those different elements, then we're going to have to work together on it. And there's going to be a framework of a general consensus and understanding. So, I mean, that's just
I'm not opposed to working together and collaborating. And, in fact, I'm in favor of that very much. However, when you are saying, we want to see and approve your rules and make sure they are in alignment with the rules and sort of the culture of Morris Park, I'm a little stymied by what the rules are at Morris Park, because quite honestly, I haven't been able to find any other than the sign at the front of Morris Park, which says cross-country skiing, running, walking, charcoal fires only, and camping by permit. It doesn't say anything about hours of operation and whether, rules that you would see in a park. So we do have rules, and we'll be happy to come to the rec committee meeting on November 2nd and share with you our rules. But I guess I just want to understand who has, we, as Deb said, are ready to break ground. And so I would like to know, is there somebody who's going to give us the ultimate go, no go on this, because the clock is ticking? And so we would like to know who that is or what entity that is. And that can't really be, a collaboration if somebody has the authority to say yes or no on a day to break ground.
Kathy, this is Mary Kate. I'm curious if you've looked at other dog parks and whether they come under the Recreation Committee's jurisdiction or other jurisdiction. Do you know?
I don't know.
Okay, thanks.
Oh, Deb's.
Uh-oh.
No, go ahead, Deb. What?
Sorry, I did something to my screen and everybody disappeared. Can you still hear me?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. We have, we took the members of the dog park committee and sent everybody out to investigate the dog parks that were easy for each person to access. So Ian went and looked at a bunch of them. I went and looked at a bunch of them. Lizzie and Nora Wolf looked at a bunch of them. And we all have dogs that we take to other dog parks. Paul went and looked at the Burlington dog parks.
Burlington.
So we took pictures of their rules. I actually am a sort of an associate member of the Shelburne Dog Park. I go to their meetings so that I can we're trying to forge relationships with the groups that run dog parks in other towns. In Shelburne, they run actually out of the town department of recreation, which is different than the way we're set up. Middlebury, I think, does it exactly the same way. The other dog parks, I didn't investigate to that extent. Those are the two that I'm the most familiar with.
Thank you.
That's all I can say.
I
That's
could
helpful.
say that we'd have a very hard time, you know, I think as a select board, forcing the recreational committee to allow the dog park if they didn't agree that it, I don't need them basically to support it, but I need them not to object, I guess is how I would say.
Yeah,
That's my
I guess
personal
I'm
feeling.
asking a little different question. Do they come on, whether they object or not, then do they oversee the dog park?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, the memo that we have from the rec committee dated December 3rd says they're remaining neutral on the dog park initiative.
So remaining
Tim.
neutral, that was us saying, subject to learning more, we're not saying no, and that we would like to work with you on it, was my understanding from the meeting. And that's still, I mean, the fact that we're wanting to learn more is simply what I remember being told that once, we're asking about, well, what's the fencing material going to be? What's the fencing plan? I mean, how's it going to be maintained? And we were told that would come back and be presented to us. And I only knew that it was construction ready by reading Front Porch Forum, and that caught me off guard. And so I'm like, we don't want to get in the way in that sense. We just, the neutral position was a conditional, like, but we still need to know more. That wasn't an open checkbook, here you go. And that's all I'm trying to, and that was my takeaway from the meeting. And I still think that that's a fair reflection of how people feel now without them being here and not having a board ahead. But
That's fine.
So where are we with this then, in terms of, there's a rep committee meeting on November 2nd.
Yep.
The rec committee would like to see the mapped out location of where the dog park will be.
Right, I still haven't seen a
rules.
final plan. You're right.
All of that are stuff that you have, right? I mean, I think.
Oh yeah, it's all stuff we have. We
Right,
have our final rules, and we can share it with you.
Well, those are big things. So yes, please.
And if we understood, so Tim, like if we understood that this was a collaboration, and maybe this is just a big miscommunication and that happens, but if we understood that, you all were interested in seeing these plans and working with us to develop these plans, then we wouldn't be sitting here having this conversation. We're not trying to be obtuse. We're not trying to create an issue. We did not understand that was an interest that the rec committee had.
Yeah. I'm respectfully saying, Kathy, you don't know me and I don't know you. I don't think anyone's a bad person here. I'm just saying, I genuinely meant it in my email, where it's like, just share it with us so we can help get it to the finish line and help keep this thing going. But I personally can't support something I don't understand. That's all. And I don't believe it's going to be overly complex to figure out. But I have literally nothing except what I read online to form an opinion or even make a recommendation. That's all I'm asking.
All right. So I think it sounds like, let's at least see where we get to at our meeting at the recreational committee meeting on Monday, the 2nd of November. I hope that that would be all right if I attended that as well. Are you guys still meeting in person outside?
We were meeting at Eric's office, so that just got a little more complicated. I'd like to try to find something indoors, just because, you know, our meeting time, it's pitch black.
Are you not meeting on Zoom?
No, Eric's space where he is like this huge conference area where, I mean, you could probably technically have 10 people in there. It's such a large space, so we just kind of spread out. And
Are you wearing masks while you're meeting?
oh, absolutely.
It's the old Grange. It's the office space. Okay, so yeah, that's fine. Just let if the dog park committee could send as much info as they have to the recreation committee, and we'll go from there. Are you guys all right with that?
I'm totally fine with submitting everything to you via email. I'm not really too excited about meeting with y'all in person, just
That's
because
fine.
like, you know, I'm not really comfortable with that.
I'm sorry, I'm cutting you off.
If we could do a Zoom, that
Sure.
would be great.
Yep. I have, I think my personal account should be able to support everyone's needs just fine.
Yeah, and you can also use this account, which is the town account.
Oh, okay, so Stephen, if I have, if for whatever reason I'm struggling, I've never tried with my personal to do more than 4.
Oh, yeah.
But my thought is if you can do 4, you can do 7 or 8 or however many. But
Tim, is your personal account a paid account or a free one?
oh, I don't pay for it, no.
Then that's limited to either 30 or 40 minutes.
Oh, okay.
So you may want to use the town account, or if it's busy and you need another one, let me know, and I've got a paid one you can use.
As
Oh, great.
Right.
Thanks, Eric.
I also
Appreciate that.
have an account. If you wanted, I'm sorry, Tim, but if you wanted me to send an invite, I also have an account I could use.
So with that, I usually have the emails of everyone that, if I do one, is that all you need, is just the emails of the attendees?
Yes.
Okay. No, that sounds great.
All right, we will. I look forward to a collaboration between the rec committee and the dog park. It's really where it properly belongs. You know, worst comes to worst, yeah, that's where it properly belongs, in my view. Anyway,
Steve, we had a question posted in the chat box by Bob Radler. It says, are the rec committee meeting agendas warned, and are the minutes recorded someplace?
The meetings, actually, I know they're posted, and I don't know if that satisfies the warning question, because they're on the town website.
oh, no kidding.
That's the only reason why I knew it was the 2nd, and I was able to agree with you.
Yeah, they're on the calendar on the town website.
So if that satisfies the warning, the answer is yes. The minutes are, I have no idea.
The minutes are not generally posted to the public. They're provided to the Moncton community. It's never been different than that from the last 15 years I've served.
Where can we find them?
I'm sorry?
They're provided to the Moncton community. Where can we find them?
No, they're not provided. They're internal emails to each rec member held by the chairperson for, you know, I guess for inspection, I guess.
Yeah, if a member of the public asks you for them, you have to produce them, and they're meant to be available within 4 days of the meeting.
Yeah, and then what we're going to have to do in interim, when Eric has resigned, is we're going to, Stephanie passed them on to Eric, a file, and then Tim and I and the rest of the remaining rec members will have to try and put them in an orderly fashion so that they become a record if people ask.
Nice. And if you guys, at your organizational meeting, normally we would advertise for recreational committee members, you know, through Front Porch Forum.
And
mostly.
we have 2 interested parties.
That's what that was the thing. And if you do, have them send letters of interest to the select board, and we'll ask them to come in and talk to us.
Are we going to need to run an ad for that opening?
We will, but I'm glad that they have 2 people who
Oh,
are,
yeah.
are interested.
I think that as a recreation committee member along with Tim, with the other members, we can try and work with that on our own time as we have done for many years. So let us try that first.
That's actually a select board policy that all open positions are advertised.
Okay, that's fine. We can, no, let's go ahead. We'll do that. Yeah, let's go ahead and throw that out there.
It's also it's a way of getting out to the public that this stuff is going on. Maybe you'll pick up some more volunteers too.
No, I agree 100%.
Okay.
Stephen,
yes, ma'am.
Ian asked if he can make a comment in the chat.
Sure. Where's Ian?
I'm right here.
Oh, hi, Ian. Sorry.
Hi, Ian.
Thanks, Steve.
Right here. Yes, Ian.
So just a quick comment, a map of the proposed park is on the dog park webpage.
I would ask that you guys put together a package and either link it or email it to the rec committee.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah,
I
we'll do
just thought I'd point that out, that it's been on the webpage as well.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ian.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. If there's nothing else on this topic, I'd like to move on. All right. Thank you. And
Thank
you
for
very much.
everybody
Thanks.
attending.
Thank you, folks.
Thanks. Nice to meet you, Tim.
Yeah, likewise. I heard a voice.
There you go.
That's
But-
Kathy.
All right, thank you, Kathy. I really appreciate your time and nice work on getting all this stuff done. So it's
Thank
great.
you.
Thanks,
Um,
Tim.
All right, you guys I can't be appointed anymore tonight.
You are appointed. You're
Okay.
good. And you're welcome to stay around. I mean, it's not rocket science what the rest of. I've already
No,
seen some of it.
Unfortunately, I have to go do my normal job now. But no, I thank you folks in letting me ask those questions because I do enjoy this.
Yep. So good.
Thank you, folks.
All right. Thank you, Tim.
Everybody.
Bye.
All right, have a
Good
good
night.
night.
Good night.
Hi, everyone.
Oh, my goodness. My goodness. My goodness. Okie dokie. I'm on to Old Stage Road traffic study. We got 2 pieces of data. I don't know what. Oh, that's ridiculous to look at.
That's
Yeah, even the
that's not
full one's hard
tolerable.
to read.
Okay,
Even the
let's see what the
full
other one
version.
tells me.
I like the other one where they had the actual breakdown of the vehicles.
I thought so too. I thought it was right here. Did I
Yeah,
not?
why is that not this? The one that I saw was a breakdown of tractor trailers,
How
tandem
many
trucks,
people
cars.
were speeding, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. This is, I haven't seen that. I guess I'm sorry, I
guess-
missed this.
I missed this too. This is what I found when I pulled around. I do notice just this graph is number of vehicles at a given speed. The majority of people are doing what I would call close to a reasonable speed, which is 32, 33. Somebody is going through there at 60 miles an hour.
Wow.
Oh, no, really?
Yeah.
That is
Well,
insane.
even if you knock that one out, if you're on that road going 40, 45, 50. You got a whole lot more guts than I do. And I'm on that road every day.
Yeah,
Obviously, you have not ever seen the movie The Duke of Hazards
there,
or the TV show.
Hey, Steve, for the minutes, who did the study? Was it ACRPC?
yes, Addison County Regional Planning.
Okay.
Did we ask for this study to be done for this
We did.
particular road?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, was there a specific reason? I'm curious. I read I didn't read this stuff. I read the actual counts of vehicles and the speeds in a previous email, but I didn't see this. However, what was the point of Stage Road in particular? I'm just curious.
There have been ongoing complaints of speeding and unsafe driving. And on that road, in particular, it's a problem because there are very poor sight lines. There's blind hills where it's narrow. So if somebody's speeding the other way, you don't know it until you've crested the hill and there's not much room to maneuver. There's also some blind curves that are similar problems. So we had a number of questions from people. And
John,
go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. One of the things that I always, a lot of times what happens is in South Burlington and Shelburne, what they do is they place these sites where accidents occur because of those issues that you just brought up. And I don't know. I mean, I'm not around, and it's sort of like we're such a rural nature. I have no idea when an accident occurs. There's no WCX news about an accident in Moncton half the time. So, I mean, is there any type of indication or reports that tells us that there's serious accidents that occur?
To my knowledge, there have not been a lot of reported accidents that would show up in a police blotter.
Yeah.
I can tell you that I have been hit twice. It was minor damage. One ripped the rearview mirror off my car, and another one just put a scratch down the side of my window. They were never reported because the person admitted it was their fault, and they paid for the repairs out of pocket. And there was minor damage, not a big deal. When the people came in to complain about this, there were several other people who have had similar experiences. So there are accidents happening there. There's just not a lot that have escalated to the point. We did do a site visit with, I forget who the guy was. Was it VTrans, Steve? Or
He's an AOT person.
Yeah. So it is, if you've been down that, it's the sight lines on that are horrendous.
Oh, no.
The traffic study, it's unfortunate that they put the speed counter right in the middle of a straightaway where there's a wide spot in the road, or wider spot. Had they put it 50 or 100 yards further north of where they did, they would have gotten very different. They would have gotten 25-mile-an-hour average speeds.
Okay.
I
was just curious. I saw this
when somebody.
I saw this I saw the report come up, and I was like, I guess again, it comes down to where I'm trying to learn I'm trying to learn my job, but I just sort of see these things show up and go, all right, why did we do a traffic study there? And I don't know what created it because I'm not traveling some of these roads regularly.
What created it was, so we had a resident who complained multiple times that there was traffic going through there too quickly. In fact, there was couple of particular people. We asked for increased patrols. And the first day, it was like catching a mouse here. It's like the first day was like, there's the guy, he gets nabbed. He's driving with a suspended license. They towed his car, and the cop said, yeah, and he'll be back here doing the same thing tomorrow.
Okay, yeah, no, I recall all that. Yeah.
All right, so that's
okay. I just trying to figure out the rationale for why we're spending money on certain things.
The traffic study.
Go ahead, John.
The traffic study came about because when you want to change a speed limit, normally the only way to change a speed limit is to do a traffic study. and have the traffic study support the change.
Yeah.
So it was recommended, although in this case, the reason for doing it is not really speed related, it's sightline related. The guy who we did the site visit with recommended doing it anyway, so you had the data.
Right. I remember reading the arguments that a town can use based on the studies and typical road conditions and general town ordinances. And my take on it was the fact that it's pretty hard to change their minds on allowing us to do changes on the speed limits. So is there any way that this really does help us? I guess that's my question.
The guy we did the site visit said 2 ways to change it. One is do the traffic study and hope that the speeds support a change. This one really doesn't. I think they go by 85th percentile, which I think was like 38 miles an hour or something. Speed limit's currently 35. But the other thing he said is because it's a narrow road and because it has poor sight lines, you might be able to change it anyway. There are some other provisions other than just doing a traffic survey. He suggested doing the traffic survey anyway, but he said, I'm betting you'll do it based on poor sight lines and narrow widths.
Yeah,
he actually measured the width at one point. So on Friday, I spoke with Ben, either Thursday or Friday. He'd had a couple more conversations with the guy. I was hoping for, here's the procedure you have to go through. And we don't have that. You know, you have to go through if you're going to do it on something other than a traffic study. We don't have that, but Ben had touched base. I need to touch base again, and then also call VLCT. The whole point of this was really that road should not be a 35 mile an hour speed limit. If there's anybody coming the other way, you're lucky to be able to maintain 25. So this was sort of the groundwork to prepare for changing the speed limit on that road.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. I mean, to me, this is like, this and then what Steve's got up here on site right now is what I read.
Right,
It was sort
and
of
by
like
the way, Paul, this doesn't cost us any money. This is free.
I thought we received a bill from them.
No. This
Not
is
No,
for
are you
this.
sure? Are you
not for
sure?
this.
No,
Are you sure?
Positive.
they may bill us for other things, but I didn't see anything.
I was sure I saw on a warrant a bill for this traffic study.
No.
All right, maybe I might be mistaken.
So this is the thing that we should be sending. I mean, what we should have done and what we, I'm happy to do is send this to the Addison County Sheriff. This particular one. Peak time for violations, 4:30 in the afternoon.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
How many enforceable violations are there? Oh, about 37%. 300 people out of 900 people going by there.
Are you okay? I'm going to dig into the records because I swear I believe that I thought I saw a bill for this service.
I claim no, but okay.
I'm pretty sure I saw something for a Vermont traffic study bill that from and I can't say for sure if it was this or maybe something related, but I'm pretty sure I saw a bill, but I might be wrong. Okay. I'm not saying it's not worth it. I'm just saying that.
Yeah.
I'm just bringing it up.
No, that's all good.
Yeah. Well, we did it. We agreed to go forward with it in a meeting. And the point of it on the agenda this time around is, I believe, Steve, is are we going to take the next steps towards reclassifying the speed on that road?
Yeah, and I totally agree with that.
We'd need to find out what the costs may be before we step into that.
Yeah.
So
I do know that
Ben has a little more information, and I will call Vermont League of Cities and Towns hopefully tomorrow and see if they have any other information on what the steps are to go through this.
Okay, and I'll
okay.
I'll give this data to our friends at Addison Sheriff's Department. Addison County Sheriff's Department. All right. North Pond Road reclassification. I put the ad in the paper. We sent out a cover letter and warnings to all of the abutting landowners. I was surprised. I thought we might have a few people show up at tonight's meeting to discuss it. That's why I left it on the agenda. I'll probably continue to leave it on the agenda. I believe I'd have to go look, but I think it's November 15th is when our I think it's a Saturday that we do the site review and the hearing on a Monday.
Steve, do we need to decide, or how is it decided if, you know, if it goes ahead and gets reclassified? Right now, the town is maintaining that. Is the town going to stop maintaining it at that point?
So town trail maintenance is determined by the select board on a case. That's what I hear, on a case basis. It's really up to what the select board and the road foreman would like to do. You know, once upon a time, I told Ken that we'd plow his driveway as long as he was there. I don't have to.
I'm not trying to argue one way or another. I just know there will be questions because we don't, as far as I know, we don't have anything else like that in town that is not a class 3 or better road that we are maintaining. So we'd need to make a decision at some point.
So my opinion is, we can either make a decision ahead of time, or we can wait for the hearing and get their testimony and make a decision after the fact.
So Stephen, it was all done by certified mail to all the landowners, right?
Yes.
All right. So if they're in the certified mail, if they had any argument by a certain date, after that date passes, if we do not go forward with declassifying that road, we're sort of creating a problem for ourselves with respect to what we propose and what we demand. And I think we have to stick to our guns and say, you had the opportunity, you failed to come up and make your argument, and we move on. Because if we don't, then we're just giving everybody wiggle room to defend themselves after the fact that we've given legal notice. So and we probably shouldn't do that.
So I'm not sure I follow your argument.
I'll tell you what my argument is, and I only know that I only know this from personal experience. The road that I lived on was not actually warned properly back in the 1950s, and it has become I have spent numerous times with the select boards for the last 20 years, up until 10 years ago, resolving the issue of maintenance and responsibility for the road that I live on, the Dart Hill Road. I'm only using that as an example here. And the fact is that the town did not take the responsibility to follow through with the certified mail and the warnings. And then lawyers came in and started to push around a lot of things that cost me money and people up the hill money to resolve, because there was no definitive records online or in the town hall that described the situation.
So that's
we're describing now.
We did a notice of hearing. It's posted around town. It was posted in the Addison Independent. It was sent by certified mail to all the abutters. It's a
and I understand that. So why are we, if nobody's coming to to contest it, why do we not throw it up?
We haven't
Because
had the hearing yet.
We haven't had the hearing yet.
Okay, well, perhaps I have not received the information at the specific time of the hearing, I guess.
All right, the hearing, so the public will meet at the Moncton Town Hall at 10 a.m. on Sunday, November the 15th to go do a site tour. And then we will meet remotely on Monday, November the 16th.
Okay, so I did receive that, but you had changed, you were re-editing that, and I apologize. I don't mean to get excited. I just, this came up 2 meetings ago. It was constantly being re-edited. I apologize.
Okay. So yes, it all got sent out. That's what I'm trying to say, and it all got sent out. I'm surprised. To John's point is the point. I mean, no question about it, the town will commit to repairing that culvert, both on a temporary basis and on a permanent basis. And really what we're going to argue about or decide or, think about is who's responsible for grading that road and who's responsible for snow removal, right? Maintenance and snow removal.
Yep. And that's basically a topic for the hearing.
We could set it up as a topic for here, but I think we've already asked them to all come to that thing. So hopefully we'll discuss it a little bit on our walk and probably discuss it a whole bunch during the informational part and the actual hearing part.
Yeah.
That's my thought.
So Steve, since this is a hearing, we're not, am I correct that we're not supposed to have one-on-one discussions with people about this at this point, or is that considered ex parte?
One-on-one discussions right now, but
Okay. Once the hearing happens.
Right. An informational meeting will be held 30 minutes prior to the hearing. So,
okay.
Same sort of format that we tend to do for hearings.
Yeah.
I didn't think it worked particularly well for the PD, by the way. I actually, I'd love to hear from Mary Kate if the informational meeting is going long, can we just delay when the actual hearing begins? Oh, can't hear you.
Yeah, I don't know, Steve.
Okay, that's
how
fine.
that works.
I can find that out too.
Okay.
Okie dokie. So that's where we're at. We're shooting it at November 15th. Put it on your calendars. Oh, new town offices and library status. We pretty.
Can I ask you a quick question, Steve?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you need me to come to take notes at the site visit or just the hearing?
No, I do not
No.
need you at the site visit.
Okay.
The site visit is really, it's just a,
Look.
That was 10 a.m. on Sunday?
yeah, is that all right?
Okay. Just putting it in my phone so I don't forget.
Yeah, I probably am right in the middle of somebody's church services and I hadn't thought about it. Emergency management director status, COVID. I think we discussed sort of before we actually got going on the meeting that sounds like there's been some problems at some of the local schools. So we'll just wait and see. Infringement on Jockey Lane. I got some maps, John, at town hall.
Oh, you picked them up. Okay.
I didn't I picked them up. They're in the select board folder.
Yeah. There was supposed to be a bill in there too. Did that get forwarded to Bill or?
No,
I have not stopped by the town hall, but I did ask him, he'd asked me if it had been forwarded and I said I hadn't checked to see if stuff was there. And he said he could email something to Bill, but
Okay.
if it's
I
sitting there,
will.
just as easily.
I'll take care of it tomorrow, and
Okay.
if he wants to email, that's great too. But do we need to have a walk?
Yeah, he had offered to come meet us for a site visit, and let me just check and make sure he hasn't responded to the email. He had said, let me get the one so I'm giving the right information here. He had said, how about next Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday? Well, he just asked that today. So I don't know if he means this coming Wednesday or next week. And he hasn't responded to my question about that, but
I think there's no problem if two members of the select board
Yeah.
want to walk down there with Tim or
Yeah.
with the surveyor.
yeah, yeah.
I think, isn't that sort of what
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, that was the plan. And we don't have to, as long as it's not a quorum, we don't have to warn it in advance. We can just schedule the meeting
Just go
and
do
go.
it.
And then those two would report back at our next select board meeting.
Yep.
So, and I'm happy to do one of those. I don't know if anybody else has interest or availability or whatever, but if I know you're interested, I'll talk to you before I try to hammer down a day and time. I'm guessing he's going to want to do during the week, during a weekday.
I can do it with you, John, if we can do it in the morning or in the afternoon, late
Okay.
afternoon.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but yeah, I can do it. I can do it early morning or late afternoon.
Yep. Okay. I will, I'll touch base with him and clarify what week he was talking about and let you know.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, guys. Salvage yards in Moncton. Oh, I mean, Paul and I drive past it every day, and I don't know about Paul, but it pisses me off every day. I mean,
It's actually
every day.
It's disturbing.
Anyway, I saw.
I mean, I thought we were going to allow the state to take over on this because
We have to file a claim.
I think it is. I think it's getting time where we should at least get the ball rolling on filing a claim, because I'm actually completely upset about what I'm seeing now. I mean, daily things are
getting
both
worse.
of us. It gets worse every week I go by and I see some new stuff going in there, and it's like they're just it seems to me they're thumbing our nose at us for doing what they feel they have the right to do without recognizing that there are some environmental laws and junkyard laws, and I think that's unfair to the rest of the community to put up with it.
Yeah.
So Bill sent us the information to file a report, it seems to me.
That was from an A&R attorney that lives in Moncton.
He still lives in Moncton, and he's on the rec committee, is he not?
I don't know that, but he still lives in Moncton.
Yeah, I believe so.
Sorry, who are we talking about?
John?
Zykowski.
Oh yeah, John Skowski.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's still on the rec committee.
There you go.
So this might have predated your time on the board, Paul, but if I recall correctly, the problem with it's not so much allowing the state to do it, it's getting them to. They've got one guy who does the whole state. And
Oh no,
my understanding from previous conversations it might be quite a wait before we actually get somebody to show up and enforce it.
That I totally understand that, because I deal with the state of Vermont on Vermont fire inspections and electrical inspections for any type of commercial work done outside of the city of Burlington or Rutland or anywhere else where there's no particular code enforcement. And they're all very busy.
Okay. I don't think we have anything on the next three items. Any other business? John, did you want to, do we want to just discuss Chelsea's request to put up some signs? Just say yes. Just say, yeah, I think signs by a committee, a town committee on town land is fine. Oh, I can't hear you. You're muted.
She had asked me, she ran into me at Boyer's Orchard and asked, can I put up signs for this meeting? And I said, I don't have the authority to answer that on my own. the
Could we not
U-
ask her
the
to
UP the UPD says with select board permission for community events posted on town property. But it seems like, you know, that introduces a huge time lag. And I think what you just said, Steve, makes a lot of sense. If it's a town committee posting about a town event, I'm wondering if we can kind of give them carte blanche approval or something to, or tell them, hey, just notify the town clerk and then go ahead.
You know, I know that for instance, the planning commission just put their, you know, we're having a Zoom UPD meeting right up there. Didn't come to us and ask about it. It's just, they just did it. By the way, their signs are illegible. I mean,
Actually, can't we just have them put it on the town billboard there and just, and I mean, that seems to be the general, I mean, that billboard has been the sort of focal point of any type of activity that, in my belief, the select board have never approved whether or not they're you know, allowed to use it or not. The dog park committee put a thing on there, and there, you know, the, you know, popcorn with the Boy Scouts. Why not?
the town clerk is responsible for that, is how I've always said it. We don't need to control everything. We let the town clerk take care of that.
Well,
Well,
we
I
could
think
just
even though our UPD is kind of silent on the issue, I think it's a different case when it's a town committee posting about official town business as opposed to a member of the public or some non-town organization who says, hey, I want to do this.
So I'll just write Chelsea back and say, yeah, it's fine. You can have him up there. She also inquired about our email, and I'll let her know too that if she just posts on our website, that automatically gets emailed out to everybody who signed up for our website, which I think is what she wants to have done. The only other piece of business I can imagine is, I don't know how many of you saw the invoice from Mr. Brace.
Yeah,
Yeah, there you go.
I got a little.
I mean, Mary Kate, what's your opinion of that? I mean, I looked at it, I said, okay, so somebody from the community invoices the town for a service that they've created that conflicts with what we're doing as a service community. I was like, I looked at it, I said, okay, I mean, with a certified mail and everything, I guess we do have a responsibility, I think, to address it, but when I looked at it, I said, I have no idea where we're going with this.
Nope.
No,
The answer's no.
The answer's
no,
thank
we
you.
don't need to address it.
No, we don't need to address it, is correct.
No.
Very good,
And
very good.
there
Thank
is-
you very
A big part of the problem with the erosion there is that he will not let the town road crew put in the ditch that they feel needs to be done
Right.
to handle
And the
that road
culvert.
properly.
Right.
Oh,
The
no.
ditch and the culvert. And he's parked equipment there to prevent them from being able to work on it. And at this point, they're a little afraid to go work on it. They're not sure what the reaction would be if they were to actually go in and put the ditch in. Even though the town has every right to, they're not sure how safe it is to do that work over his objections.
Oh, no. I've spoken to both parties, the road commissioner and the landowner, and there's no agreement whatsoever that was established back when there was an opportunity for the landowner to take advantage of the services from the community. And because of that, I don't believe that the bill should be paid and should be ignored because of the fact that the town did make good due diligence to try and resolve it.
Okay, any other business for the committee, for the board? When's our next meeting?
9th?
November 9th. Thank you very much, Bill. 7 o'clock. All right.
Same bat time.
Same bat time, same bat station. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
John,
Me,
I'm
Mary Kay.
All those in favor?
Aye,
Aye.
And we are adjourned. Thank you very much.
thanks.
Right.
Oh, my goodness.